Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your boys are back. Your boys are back, man. Welcome back. This is baby. Game opener. Obviously, not the result that we wanted, but tonight, Lakers lose on ring night. I'm here with your boy Chaz. It's been a long time since we've been together, and it's been a while, but it's still the shortest off season.
70 what days?
76, 70, 72, 73?
72 days, whatever it is.
It's been a minute. But I'm glad to be back with you, bro. How have you been?
Oh, I've been great. Just living it up, enjoying being world champions. Tonight, you know what? It's all good. We're not going to fret. We're not going to panic. There's a lot to be encouraged about. Dennis Schroeder showed us a lot. Montrezl Harrell showed us a lot. But there's nothing else really too much good that we could say after that. Alex Caruso was god-awful on the defensive end. Wesley Matthews got abused by PG and Kawhi all night. So did Caruso. Caruso in that fourth quarter sequence against Paul George. Paul George was just cooking him over and over and over again. So that's just what's going to happen. I mean, when you have great players like that, that can happen. And this is the same thing that happened. It's kind of crazy. The exact same thing that happened last year in opening night happened tonight, except for, the Lakers went down and somehow came back. I think that the defensive effort in the second quarter is really what carried them. But the lack of defense in the first quarter and the third quarter just eventually caught up to you. You didn't have enough energy in the fourth quarter, nor was the spacing correct in terms of guys, clogging up the lane, bringing their defender too close. That's why AD didn't have anything but one dunk or one easy basket or layup all game. So got to figure out the spacing, got to figure out better passing. I hate that this team continues to miss free throws. I was hoping that was something that would be corrected as this new season came along, but clearly we do not know how to shoot free throws at a high clip. So, but we're not going to complain. It's ring night. We have a lot to be thankful for, grateful for. Wipe the slate clean. We're still 0-1. It is what it is. A loss is a loss.
Yep.
Let's wipe it off. We got 2 more days until the next game, and Christmas game should be a big one. That's one you got to have. No Kristaps Porzingis coming off a Clippers loss. We don't lose two in a row, like AD said, and we're not going to start this year. So I'm looking for a big win on Christmas Day as a gift.
Absolutely, man. I think tonight, what you said, I echo everything you said. I will say I'm going to give my boy Caruso a little bit more leniency and grace because I don't think he's healthy. I'm going to be honest. I don't think he's healthy.
I don't think so either. So why wasn't THT up? Why didn't he play more? If we know that, then Vogel knows that, obviously.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. There seems to be a reluctancy to put THT out as quickly. Even with Caruso. Caruso really only played second and fourth quarter, but he sat the entire first. You really didn't see him at all. So I think that he's staggering, and Vogel has been known to experiment with rosters early in the season. I mean, not just with the Lakers. He did it even with Indiana and in Orlando. The difference is that you've won a championship now, so you kind of have a grip on who can do what. But tonight, you're right, man. The team just didn't have it tonight, and I said it in the pregame show. Do not be surprised if we end up going down by double digits or losing by double digits. I said don't be surprised if we end up losing. Tonight was a recipe to lose. Ring night against a lesser team that's trying to prove something, and everybody was relaxed today, and it showed. Now, like you said, last year we ended up losing by 10. Kawhi Leonard went off for 30. And then we ended up winning the championship anyway. The truth is how much do the Lakers grow from this? And I'm going to point out a couple of things that I think were great. I think we know for a fact that Schroeder and Trez have something going very similar to what Lou Will and Trez had with the Clippers, which makes our second unit that much more dangerous. How did you feel about Dennis being in the starting lineup? Would you keep him? Would you change it?
I would keep him. As
Okay.
At first, he was making a lot of mistakes,
Yeah.
and AD. I remember there was a sequence that he made a couple mistakes on the defensive and the offensive end, even though we got bailed out by a missed shot. He got the ball, I believe, made a turnover, made a wild pass or something like that. And AD, there was a timeout, and AD just had a one-on-one with him. And I think after that, they kind of settled him down, and he just played great in the second quarter and really went off from there and had a really good third quarter as well. I think he was about 2 assists shy of a triple double. Yeah, he had 14 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, but he was a -10 overall.
Yikes.
You know, so I mean, you did a lot of good things, but you made a lot of mistakes as well. And
Yeah.
flat out, I mean, how often is AD a -16? You know, in 31 minutes. That's just not who AD is. He didn't shoot the ball very well. He didn't hit a three, although he was 8 of 15 and didn't miss a free throw. He only had 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and flat out, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard play better than LeBron James and Anthony Davis tonight. So
Yeah.
when that happens, and then you have a solid bench play, even Zubac had 11, Lou Williams had 11, and Patrick Beverly was even in double figures in a +10. So this doesn't show us what's going to happen this season. It's just all about how the Lakers respond and how they show the new guys how to do things within the Laker organization and not make those mistakes. I just love the energy and the passion that Montrezl Harrell plays with. I just love what he brings to the floor, the easy baskets that he gets, the chemistry that he's starting to forge with Dennis Schroeder as well. Love the passing that they have as well. I just felt like Wesley Matthews and Gasol just couldn't guard anybody tonight at all. Neither could I'm not going to get on Kuz too much, but I don't know where his head was either. He had a lot of empty points at the end of the game. I think he finished with a total of 15 points, but I think he only had 5 or 7 points through, the 4-minute mark or 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter. So, lot to improve on. And this is just a dress rehearsal, one of 72 dress rehearsals for the playoffs. So,
Absolutely. And some of the things to think about, which makes this different, not just from the bubble, but from last year, being in Staples, that's empty. That's different, right? And then, of course, you're dealing with a different schedule. You're doing a lot of the same teams twice. So I'm interested to see how the Lakers play against the Clippers on this next time that they play. But all of this stuff is really just trying to get acclimated. I loved watching LeBron. He looked joyous. He looked carefree. He looked stress-free. You could tell he was doing a lot of coaching on the sideline, a lot of talking. But he didn't seem like he had a lot of pressure on him. And maybe that's probably because he's not in the bubble. He has his family with him. It was ring night. They accomplished the goal. But this is one thing I know about analytics teams, especially like a coach like Vogel. The more information they get, good or bad, benefits them for the next game. And so there's a lot of film that they're going to be going over between now and Christmas that I think is going to give them exactly what they need to make adjustments. There's some things you can't adjust. Marc Gasol is not going to be a defender. But what I didn't care about his points. What I did not like is that he had 1 assist. A passing big like that.
No points, -8.
-8. And here's
5 fouls.
Here's
my
rebound. Issue with him being on the floor with Schroeder. So now you have a LeBron James who's a ball handler and can pass. Then you also have Marc Gasol who can pass and it's a big. But you have that many passers on the floor, but not enough spacing. You're going to have an issue. So I think Schroeder obviously gives you far more point production than Gasol does. But I'm interested to see what he does when he learns the other players' cuts and learns how to get to that high post man and be able to feed. We saw it during the preseason, so we know he can do it. I don't care if he doesn't score points, but if he can cause points for our team, I think that'd be a good idea, man. But here's some of the things in the chat. I haven't got to the chat. They're saying they're not worried. They're not worried. They said they have
worried.
Worried. Ain't no problem. Ain't no problem. Kyle Davis says, he would love to get that W, but he's not worried at all. Blake St. Clair, I love it. Our boy is back. I have this copy ready to paste from last season. Kuzma doesn't do enough to justify the article space he gets. If he isn't scoring at a high pace, he isn't contributing. Most of his points were in garbage time. You said that. But I'm gonna let you jump in on this because we both feel the same about Kuzma. But let me just say this. Kuzma is not a starter. He's great off the bench. Kuzma does his best work when there's no AD and when there's no LeBron on the floor. Even in garbage time, regardless. When the floor is empty and the ball is his, he does his best work. But
I completely disagree.
I think he does his best work offensively when he
disagree. If you give Kuzma the starting spot, if he would have started, now he's not going to start instead of Schroeder. Maybe if KCP gets hurt. If somebody gets hurt, Kuzma's definitely in the starting lineup for whoever gets hurt, unless it's Gasol. Or even still, he might still be in if you slide AD down. But I think if Kuz starts, he's a completely different player. He is. And that's why I really wanted him to start, because I knew Schroeder would still be good with the second unit. And overall, he would still be able to come off the bench better than Kuz has been able to, even though he's been fine, good enough to get a $40 million contract over 3 years. But I just think that if he were to start, it would just make us that much better. So, does he do his best work without AD on the floor? Yes, because there's more space for him to be able to operate.
That's all I'm saying.
I would like to see him start with AD and LeBron and KCP and Gasol. I would love to see that, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen since Schroeder came out and damn near had a triple-double tonight. So, I mean, the kid's balling. He's going to be a fan favorite, like Reggie said. And, watch out for KCP. Even though he finished the game, little nicks and bruises and stuff like that. He looks like he came out of the game when I think he took a knee from Zubac. And, he stayed in the game, but little nicks and stuff like that. LeBron didn't even finish the final, I think, 4 to 5 minutes of the game either.
No. Yeah, he played 28 minutes tonight. LeBron played 28. In fact, to be honest, the only starter that played above 30 minutes was Anthony Davis. So there was a lot of mixing and matching on this rotation. Caruso played 17, THT 11, Matthews 11, Kuzma 27, Harrell 32.
Trez played the most.
Yeah, Trez played the most. Morris played 19. So you're seeing Vogel playing with these lineups. Obviously, the rotations aren't set, and I don't expect them to be set for at least another 5, 7, 10 games. So Kuzma may end up in that starting lineup. I'll give you that. I personally think that every time I've seen that LeBron and AD were going to sit, everybody knew that Kuz was probably going to go for 20 plus because he just scores more when they're not on the floor. I will say this. I think if you can find a way to fit him with Anthony Davis and LeBron to where you maximize Kuzma, this would be the season for that to happen. When you need LeBron to take rest, you need AD to get some rest, and you need someone to be a scorer on the floor. I don't know if Schroeder is going to be guaranteed that starting spot going forward. I can't say that, right?
Hey, if he continues to do what he did tonight, he will.
Yeah, and tonight was an anomaly for me when it comes to him, because when you have LeBron James only playing 28 minutes, naturally Schroeder's him and LeBron played the same amount of minutes, but Schroeder took a lot of that load, and a lot of that was when LeBron wasn't really on the floor. And so having him being able to carry that load when LeBron is off, I think benefits your bench more, especially the way he played with Trez tonight. The way him and Trez were playing tonight is more of an indictment on him starting than it is on him being on the bench, in my opinion. Right. But we'll see. We'll see, because
which is why he should. Oh man, sorry about that. Which is why I think he should come off the bench.
And you think Kuzma should be in that spot?
Yes, because it helps both players that much more.
I like
both players.
Okay.
So I would just like to see it. I would like to see it, like Monique would say. I'd like to see it.
I like to see that. Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I think you're going to see some more rotation. I don't think the starting lineup's staying the same next game. I really don't. I really don't. I think there's going to be some adjustments.
I think it will. I think it will.
If they do keep the same, the minutes won't be nearly the same. I don't think Gasol stays on the floor as long as he did in that first quarter.
Gasol played 12 minutes.
Yeah, but majority of that was in the first quarter. That dude picked up 3 fouls so fast. Literally, and it was like ticky-tack fouls. Him trying to catch back, and
no. Yeah, ticky tack fouls because he's out of position. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know how in shape Marc Gasol is. I've never had Marc Gasol on my team, so I don't know what he's supposed to look like. But I don't know if he's in shape or if he's moving well or it looked. I mean, it looked like it in the preseason, and he had a few. I was really high on him, but tonight he was just. I mean, nothing went his way. So
Mm-mm.
we'll see what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
he's gonna have to bang down there with Boban on Christmas. So let's
And
let's
that's
see
actually
let's see how it goes.
that's actually going to bode better for him than Zubac because Boban is not as athletic, and so hopefully they won't have to do so much running and trying to catch up. Here's a thought, and I want I want to get your thoughts on this because there was a little bit of conversation about Wesley Matthews, and so my boy Kyle Davis says he can't guard elite threes. Now I know that Wes Matthews is not a elite guard, but my question is, what is your expectation for Wesley Matthews at maximum capacity? What is his ceiling for this team?
Just a guy that just doesn't get beat on back doors and on the defensive end and makes at least 1 to 2, maybe 3 open threes a game. Like that's it. That's it. Don't make mistakes on the defensive end and hit a wide open jumper when you can. That's it. Like and don't be a nuisance in the locker room. Those 3 things. It's all you have to do. So
Which is not a lot, to be honest.
I mean, your salary reflects it. You're getting paid $3.6 million.
Yeah, it's interesting. He shot 36% last year from the 3-point line, so that was one of the things there. But I personally I feel like tonight was not a great sample of Wesley Matthews. My defense is this: I think he is far better than what he played today. And
Oh yeah,
I think
we
part of
know
it is
that.
him getting acclimated to a new rotation. I think it was way easier for him to know his role in Milwaukee than it is on this team. It's one
Yeah,
thing when you have Giannis and then there's just a bunch of everybody else. It's another thing when you have a roster like this. And I saw plenty of times where Wesley Matthews was running back trying to get on defense and didn't even know what his assignment was.
yeah. I mean, it's going to be a lot of that. It's going to be a lot of trying to figure out spacing and how to play and this and that. For whatever reason, last year it just clicked. Like Avery Bradley knew where to be,
Mm-hmm.
KCP knew where to be, Danny Green just knew where to be, Rondo.
Mm-hmm.
We just things just click. It doesn't look like it's going to click like that right away, but it's going to be up to the veterans to be able to show these guys how to do it, and for guys like Caruso and Kuzma and KCP to tell Schroeder and Matthews where to be
Yeah.
and what and how to be there, how long to be there, and just all of those different nuances. And it's going to take time. Lakers aren't worried about what seed they get. There's no fans anyway, so you don't have to worry about. Don't kill yourself trying to get home court.
Yeah.
Just get a top 3 seed, at worst 4 seed, and steam and just be relatively healthy at least by game 60 to 65 of the season. If you can do that, then
You're golden.
you're fine.
You're good to go. You're good to go. Yeah, I think what you just said was the key to that. Was the key to it all is the way they pick it up. And that's how we made our mark last year was on defense. Tonight was just not a defensive game at all whatsoever. And you're also talking about a roster last year that, hashtag comeback kids. It was full of people trying to make a statement about their game individually. Dwight Howard trying to prove himself. Avery Bradley trying to prove he came into the season saying, I want to be known as an elite defender. You heard none of that conversation this offseason. The most you heard was Kuz is looking to be better on defense. That's pretty much the most you've heard. And you don't have a roster full of people looking to prove themselves. You have half a roster that spent a whole season showing that they can win a championship, and another half that is looking to win a championship. And in the middle of that is a 35-year-old center who's the brother of of first ballot Hall of Famer, who's going to have his jersey retired in the Lakers rafters. So it's a weird mix that's far different than last year, but I think they're going to get that together. David says Chaz is the Kuz Hive leader, and I will submit that I'm in that same hive. I believe in Kuz, although I'm seeing this, and it's all over this. Kuz is simply not that dude. Will always be inconsistent. Unfortunately, that's who he is.
How,
Y'all about to set Chaz off, bro. Y'all about to set him off, man.
Kuz played 27 minutes tonight. He was 6 of 11, shot 1 of 3, made both of his free throws, had 15 points, and just about nothing else. He played very bad tonight, in my opinion. He didn't do much else but score in garbage time. When I did see him, he hit two jumpers and got cooked on the defensive end by Paul George and anybody else that he was guarding, essentially. That's why overall he was a +1. I mean, you did just as much bad as you did good, essentially. So, is he consistent? No, not all the time, but I swear, I really just want him to be in the starting lineup for at least a good stretch, just to get a good sample size of it, so that way you can show him. So that way he doesn't. So that way you can you hit the ball back into his court and say, look, I gave you a chance. You got to show me, this and that. So that way he feels more consistent about his role.
Yeah.
That's just what I would like for him. But overall, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to take some time for guys to mesh together. There was a lot of good things that I saw. Nothing glaring. I was like, oh man, that's terrible. Nothing glaring. Everything that I saw tonight was just fixable and will come with just time, just attrition and things of that nature as well, and just muscle memory and things of that nature with guys not playing as long as they did as well. So you would like to think that the guys have been in shape, but I think mentally they're there. I don't think physically everybody's just there. Guys got to find their legs. It's going to take some time to kind of get into that motion.
Absolutely. And you came from a very disciplined, literally that bubble, they gave you your meals. You weren't going anywhere. You were restricted and everything was pretty much set for you. And so that's a difference. And when you get freedom, they knew it. They knew that they were going to have a shortened offseason, and they lived. You look at them Instagrams from all of those players.
My dogs were living it up.
Live as they deserve it. As they deserve it. And I just got to keep pointing back to this, man. We panicked. And when I'm saying we, I'm saying Laker Nation. Chaz and I, we had conversations with you guys. The first 30 games, we were ready to throw away KCP. And now we were begging for him to play in the finals. We were ready to throw away Avery Bradley at one point. That was really weird.
We were?
Yeah. There was one moment where people were like, well, KCP's doing so well. Avery Bradley's coming off an injury. He's not playing as well as he was prior to injury. And there was all this conversation.
I wasn't good with his jump shot, but it was all right towards the end. But all right.
Yeah, see, we have a pendulum of swinging momentum. For instance, somebody in the chat tonight wants to trade Gasol. Wants to get rid of him on game one.
We can't. What we do need, what is glaring, thank you for whoever that comment is, what is glaring is that we need a backup center.
We do.
For sure.
We do.
For sure.
We do.
There's no doubt about it. There's no, maybe, let's see about K-Cock or let's see how the season goes. No. Immediately off top.
Yeah.
Backup center, ASAP.
Yep. Now, with that being said, trade deadline, I think, is happening in March. I think is what they said the trade deadline is.
No reason to trade for anyone. No reason to trade for anyone.
Okay.
It's not as glaring to the point where you need to give up anything for it, but on the buyout market, for sure,
pick up a
backup 5, or just a big body to be able to throw around and bang around there. It can't be AD for the whole season and playoffs, and Trez is too small, obviously, to be able to bang around with most of the big guys. I mean, he's just undersized, even though he works hard. And Gasol is not going to last. He's just not.
No,
he's just not. So,
no.
Backup 5 for sure.
Now the person who made that comment was on Periscope, Matt the Second. I don't know have a last name, but here's another comment though that may lend to this 5 idea. When Gasol exits the game, AD needs to move to the 5.
I thought he did.
Sort of. They had moments where they had Trez.
There were, but yeah, there were moments with AD and Trez out there. Man, Trez was good. Man. Yeah. I mean, he's going to be even better, but Trez was. There's nothing bad you could say about Trez. 17, 10, and 6. I mean.
No. And he's never had a defensive coach. I think Vogel is going to train this dude. Remember what Vogel did with Roy Hibbert
Yeah,
Okay,
he's gonna be our pit bull for sure.
he's gonna get him. But you're right, we do need a backup center. Um, Trade Kuzma for a partially working vending machine. These people are really, y'all really out your mind, man.
Oh
Y'all
gosh.
tripping. Kuzma is paid about the same per good game as Danny Green was. This is really wild what y'all are saying right now. If Wes Matthews can play better than Danny Green, we win. And he's here with the vet minimum contract. Absolutely. Okay, here's a great question. And this is, guys, I've been waiting all season for this moment for the Trust the Prophet segment. Okay, here we go. This is a long term one, so we won't know this one for real. But how many games do you think it will take for the Lakers to get a rhythm?
A rhythm as far as really getting to know each other and play with one another. Now, okay, pending health, assuming there's guys not in and out of the lineup like KCP getting kneed in the calf tonight and stuff like that. Assuming everybody's remains in the lineup for a fair amount of time, I'd say at least a good 30 games for like
Agreed.
30, 20, 25 to 30 games.
Agreed.
At least a quarter, a third of the season is what I would say. So that's
Agreed.
it's anywhere between 25 to 30 games, and yeah, we'll find out by that time what 30 games. I mean, and games are going to be back pretty much every other day. Most times you'll get 2 days off only once, maybe twice a month from what I saw on the schedule. The schedule is unrelenting for the first part. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to come fast. It may be even less time than that. It may be even less time than the 25 to 30 games because there's not going to be these lulls. You're playing when you go to travel somewhere. You're playing somewhere back to back, the same team, in consecutive nights, like a mini series. So could be less than that, but I'd put it at over under 27 and a half games, and I'll take probably the over.
Same. Same here. I that was about what I was thinking. And if I'm really going back to last season, I know we kind of caught a stride, and we had some win streaks here and there, but I didn't feel comfortable really with the roster until Avery Bradley came back from his injury and really started balling. Right. That's when I was like, okay, this is the team that we have going into the playoffs, and obviously I didn't know we were going to shut down. Another thing to think about too, because I know they're doing this out here in Houston. Some of these arenas that we're going to be like on the road when they come to Houston, they're going to play Houston twice. Some of these arenas are going to have fans in it. Houston is doing that here. They're going to have fans here. So
Okay.
you're going to see a little bit. This is going to be a little bit of a shock if you have, I don't know, 9, 10, 11, 12 games and there's no crowd, and then out of nowhere you're playing 2 nights in this random city and there's crowds.
You think it's enough fans though to affect anything? Is that what are you going to ask
Well,
kind of what the effect you think it would be or what?
I think it's just going to be weird. I think the idea of consistency during this season, when the NBA hasn't even released the second half, I think we have to be prepared for anything to happen. Not to mention, listen, we're talking about injuries. We didn't even talk about COVID, right?
So
So you're
so
talking about
I'm looking at the schedule. You're
uh-huh.
right. We you're right. It's I mean I'm looking at it right now. We're literally every other day.
Yeah,
Luckily the first 4 games are all at home, but I mean you're playing the 27th, 28th, 30th, New Year's Eve off, but you're playing New Year's Day, some of them back to backs, 12th, 13th. I mean, I'm all the way up to the January 30th, and you're still playing every other day, only 2 days off one time in that time period. So, I
yeah,
mean, and by January the 30th, you're in Boston. I mean, you're on your. So I'd say by February 1st, there's going to be a long road trip in between January 21st and February 1st, where we played Milwaukee, Chicago, Cleveland, Philly, Detroit, Boston, Atlanta. Literally just knock out the entire East Coast almost, as far
yeah,
as or half
yeah,
the East Coast in that trip. And by that road trip, by the end of that road trip, we'll know what we have.
yeah,
We already
yeah.
know kind of what we have essentially because we've replaced 4 guys, but we'll know really what we have to look forward to going down the stretch, and then seeing who's an all-star, who's playing well, who's getting into a rhythm, who's going to be able to keep up the consistency that's needed in order to sustain um, playing at that level that often. So
Yeah.
should be fun.
Should be fun, man. And I think they're going to release the second half of the schedule because I think they're going to space them out a little bit more based upon how this vaccine rolls out.
Did,
But it's that schedule. I don't think I've ever seen a schedule that crazy for an NBA season.
no. This is. I mean, we're in uncharted waters and unprecedented times in many different facets, including NBA and sports scheduling. So,
Yeah.
um, oh
Whew.
man, I was gonna ask you something. I need to know, when do you think that they're going to release? Is there any word on when they're going to release the second half?
I have heard nothing about it. I've been
Me
looking to
neither.
see.
Me neither. Okay,
And I'm
I thought you knew that.
no, and I'm anticipating it. We probably won't even hear sniffs of it until like I don't know, like the 15th, 20th somewhere game in there. You know what I mean? Like once they start really getting the season going. But I can't imagine them even knowing what to do beyond this. And I think they're also going to wait to see how teams respond to COVID testing. Because that's the one thing they haven't had to deal with just yet, right? Even with preseason games, they haven't had the NFL issue where players, large groups, have to go into quarantine because somebody tested positive.
Right.
And once that happens to one team, you're going to see everything get messed up. Okay, that's why records, you can't look at records because you could have a team that is fully stacked and they have to sit 5 players and they end up losing 2 or 3 games in a row. Think about this: if you go into quarantine, you have to go into quarantine for about 7 days. If you're playing a game every other day, think about how
Three
many
games.
games. Yeah,
Three games. Boom.
and that's what happens. So you're looking for consistency. You're looking.
That might be the
That's
difference between the 3 seed and the 6 seed in the West. 3 games.
literally. So everything is up for grabs. Everything is up for grabs at this point. All we know is that if the Lakers get into the playoffs healthy, you're looking at a team that knows how to handle it. And it's very possible. I'm throwing this out here. I have heard this. If they don't get COVID underneath control, you could see the playoffs back in the bubble again.
I'm okay with that.
And I'm fine with that. But just remember, this is where everybody makes the excuse that nobody wanted to be in the bubble and there's opt-outs and stuff like that. The Lakers are built for the bubble. They know it now, okay? So we got to get to the playoffs. Here's a couple of these. Here's a
I
couple
really
of
don't want a bubble.
No, I really don't. I'm trying to be there, man. I'm trying to be in the game. I have a couple of comments here. Of course, our boy Justin Stover, who's Tan Marino on Twitch, he said he was a little surprised by the lack of production from Gasol and Matthews, but we'll see how that develops. He did say that he's frustrated with Kuz. Even though he's 26, he plays like he's 22. We kind of give him a pass with his play because we can give him that he's figuring it out ticket. And listen, listen. Kyle Kuzma's ceiling is Courtney Lee, is what Adele says.
Adele, don't start with me, my man. He did have some terrible drives to the basket tonight where he was just trying to draw the foul too much, out of control, things of that nature. I really want to see him in control more. Like he's just too jittery and fritzy, like on the block sometimes. Sometimes he's great. Sometimes he's in control, giving you that shoulder fade, giving you that dream shake, giving you that that hook in the inside. But sometimes he just his passes and he can clean up a lot. Clean up a lot. So hopefully, guys get on each other in this film session probably tomorrow, and they get after it. They fix and they tweak. They enjoy their off days, and they come back on Christmas and get us a W.
Get us a W. Well, I have a question for you. Let's talk about THT. Okay. We know the kid can cook, right? And we know that he's going to slowly get into this rotation. My question is, how does he fit into this roster? Whose minutes is he taking?
Caruso's.
Say that again?
Caruso's.
Oh my God. What? You're saying limit Caruso's minutes, even though he has the
who else? You're not you're either Caruso or Matthews.
I'd say Matthews over Caruso.
Matthews didn't even play that much anyway. So, I mean, if the more minutes you give THT, it's going to be less that Caruso plays. I think just by default, because Caruso it's going to be the offensive production that THT is going to be able to give that Caruso just hasn't been able to consistently put together. That's what it's going to come down to. Matthews, if he can get his defense in order and he shoots like we know how he can shoot, and he has that. I mean, Matthews is going to find his way on the floor. Now, if THT can figure it out and he can get, obviously he has Vogel's trust. He played in the second half, in the fourth quarter as well. So in key minutes when the game was close, not when in garbage time, he was in the game when it was close at the beginning of the fourth and through the fourth. So, I mean, not to start the fourth, but like maybe 8 or 9 minutes, I think is when he came in. But I think he's going to take Caruso's minutes because who else's minutes is he going to take? KCP? No.
You're breaking my heart. You're breaking my heart, bro. Listen,
look, man, we got to be realistic.
I know.
So let me coach you. Let me, y'all that are watching. I'm gonna coach my man Devon through this. Let's figure it out. Whose minutes can he take? Who else's minutes? So Kuzma, is he gonna take Kuzma's minutes? No.
Well, I'm gonna put it like this: who started the last game of the finals?
KCP, and Caruso.
So as far as I'm concerned, he ended at the top of the pecking order. Why we reversing?
No, that was just a matchup. That was just a matchup.
That's what I'm saying, though. Here's what I'm saying. I get it. The offensive
tonight was a bad matchup for Caruso. For sure,
it was horrible. It was horrible for everybody defensively. I just want to throw that out there. Nobody was stopping Paul George. That was the difference tonight. The difference tonight in a 7-point game was Paul George.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Let me do this, and you guys can put it in the chat as well. Give me your 2 rotations. Let's just say we're going with a 10-man roster. Obviously, they're going to play more than that. But if you had to do 5 and 5, who would be your 10?
As far as the Lakers,
for the Lakers,
the starting five, and then the bench,
yeah.
For me, it would be I would start LeBron, KCP, Kuzma, AD, Gasol, and then coming off the bench would be Schroeder, Trez, Matthews, Keefe. Who did I leave? Caruso.
So, but you're saying, but you would have THT go in for Caruso. Who would you rather?
No, I didn't. You asked me if he plays. Whose minutes is he going to take?
Take it all back then. I thought you were saying that THT. I see what you're saying. I got you. Nope, makes sense. Okay, so essentially THT is sitting in the 11-man rotation at this point.
Yes. Whose minutes is he going to cut into? He could cut into everybody's. He could take 1 minute here, 2 minutes there, 5 minutes here. It could be a few different players, but whose minutes is he going to take the most? Caruso's, because they play the exact same position: ball handler, defender, playmaker. They play essentially the exact same role. One is just better offensively than the other one. Now, is their defense the same? No, because I think Caruso plays better defense currently in terms of his discipline and his principles because he's played longer. He has G League experience. He played longer in college and things of that nature. So and because you've seen it in the finals, Vogel is going to default to Caruso as well. He's not going to give THT the edge unless THT comes in, and when he does come in, lights it up like he did in the preseason. If he does that, Caruso doesn't stand a chance because he can't keep up with him offensively.
Okay, let me tell you what the chat has said, because I actually agree everything with what you just said. The way you just put it right now, I'm in agreement. Let me tell you what your chat is saying. I don't know who is running, who's hype manning tonight for Showtime, but you have me on the floor. Everybody says that THT should take Kuz's minutes.
Y'all are tripping.
I just want to say what it says here. It says, who else? Chaz's voice got high, fearing you'll say Kuzma. Kuzma, just say it, Devon. Kuz, take all Kuzma's minutes and give them to a charity. The only Laker... Listen, they coming at him.
It's just a pop. I love it. I love that the season is back and we can do this again. And y'all can make me just laugh live in real time.
Listen. This is
minutes to charity, huh?
This came from the Showtime Forum account. The only Laker playing defense tonight is Chaz defending Kuz. Y'all are fire tonight, man.
Hey,
listen.
We play no defense tonight. But somehow we only lost by 7. So 109 to 116. I feel like to start the game in each half, they got 5 quick points right off the bat. A three by Paul George and a layup by Kawhi or somebody else. And that was pretty. That and missed free throws is the difference in the game.
Oh God, talk about it.
So yeah, man. As bad as we played, that's how good we are.
We played like garbage tonight and lost by 7, and Bron didn't even play 30 minutes. And tonight, we're saying this because I'm putting this on Bron's standard. But Bron didn't have a great night tonight. Him and AD led with turnovers.
No, once he tweaked his ankle in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. That was it.
Once LeBron came out after tweaking his ankle, and Caruso, I believe, either came in or was already in the game. There was a sequence in which Caruso got cooked for 3 or 4 straight possessions, at least 3. And that was where, and Paul George made a nasty move.
That step back in the paint?
On a step back. No, on the right wing right in front of Frank Vogel. What a nasty move in a 3. I think that put him up 9 points. And I was like, okay, if LeBron doesn't come in at that point, that's game, because we're not going to be able to keep up offensively because the offense just wasn't flowing without LeBron on the floor, which it did at times with having Schroeder, but he just made too many mistakes to where it could flow consistently, and that's just going to take time. But we have a lot to look forward to, Laker Nation, with Trez and Schroeder.
Yeah. I think I struggle when I see players get hot. Paul George, your boy Bradley Beal has gone off, man. Like, the Lakers have been known to be cooked by guards. That's kind of been our DNA for whatever reason. Either a point guard, shooting guard. Every now and again they go off. Damian Lillard cooked us the night that our first game back from Kobe's death. Yeah, for whatever reason, when a certain guard gets going against the Lakers, Klay Thompson is another one. Guards just play different when they play the Lakers, and for whatever reason, there's nothing. There's no way we can shut him down. Even I'm going back to the days of T-Mac and Kobe. The best that we could do is have somebody go pound for pound with them in the scoring category. Because once a player gets hot, they get hot. And Paul George is known to get hot. He's just not known to get hot during the playoffs. Chris Camello, your boy podcast, if you have not been checking out these podcasts, I'm stopping right now. These podcasts are so fire right now. The guests they have, why don't you just talk about it, man? Talk about what y'all have already done and what's getting ready to come up.
So we had Ben Lyons on. We had Lojo Media on. Lauren Jones of the LA Sentinel.
Come on.
We had Harrison Fagan on in the episode that we dropped earlier today. Recorded that, and we'll have Ryan Ward, beat writer for the Lakers, next week as well. So. We're jam-packed. We're, putting out some good content, giving us some stuff to talk about, thankfully for the Lakers and the season starting back. And we're looking to keep it consistent and give you guys that content that you guys are just looking for. I love doing it. And, between the post-game, live tweeting, the merch, I mean, we're on fire right now. And it's only going to continue to and we have the biggest and best fans in the world supporting us. So when that happens, you just it's all in the family. We are Laker family, right?
Yep. So please go to Spotify, go to Apple. Please go listen to these podcasts, because the discussions they are having, especially the one with Ben Lyons. Ben Lyons is a personal favorite of mine. But these conversations are amazing. So you got to jump into that. This is what Chris asked. This is what got me on that rant. Chris was saying, it's a night like this you would like somebody like Trevor Ariza. Would he have been a difference maker tonight?
No.
Not at all. You're saying there's no way Trevor would have at least been able to lock somebody up?
09 Trevor Ariza. Yeah, maybe.
Not today's Trevor.
Not 2020, 2021 Trevor Ariza. From what I saw from him in Portland prior to the bubble, wasn't the greatest I've seen him. And with the way PG and Kawhi were cooking tonight, no one's going to stop them. So I actually disagree with that. Now, long term, would I like to have Ariza over the course of the next 71 games and going into the playoffs? Absolutely. But I don't think that was going to change too much tonight because those guys just had it on. Everybody from Kuz to even AD and Trez. I mean, Paul George made a shot over Trez. Trez just looked at him and shook his head like, man. So on a night like tonight where Paul George shot what he shot, 33 points and was cooking like he did in the fourth quarter, when you get in a zone like that and you're shooting the ball like that,
and then you can do.
So,
and then you can do.
Now, again, to have Trevor Ariza for the next 71 games, absolutely. But on a night like tonight, I'm just going to chalk this up to, first game, same as last year, guys getting to know each other. Last year was force-feeding AD.
Yeah.
This year was just too many mistakes and just you could see the lack of continuity. And guys Vogel said it, guys just aren't there physically just yet. They're not. And it's going to take the 27 and a half games or so, like I said, that it's going to take for guys to really get their legs under them, feel comfortable, get into a rhythm.
Yep.
Be comfortable with flying, testing, going out of market, back in, all that stuff. And mind you, we're still in 2020. We only have 9 more days left of it, but you're still dealing with everything else that's going on outside of Staples Center and their practice facility in your home. So
listen, and Frank Vogel said it best. He said there's going to be some ugly nights. You're going to see some ugly offensive nights, some ugly defensive nights. It is the nature of the beast of having the longest NBA season ever in the NBA history, followed by the shortest offseason ever, with the most unknown future season ever in the NBA. So what we're traversing right now, you're going to have nights like tonight. This is not making excuses. Lakers played like trash, but I think if you were just being realistic, like Chaz said earlier, you knew that this could probably come. These are some of the comments that Vogel said. Vogel said on Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell, those guys are going to be big-time players for us this year. I was very encouraged. Schroeder with 14 points, 12 boards, 8 assists, and only 1 turnover. And Harrell had 17 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, 6 to 7 field goals. So he also said he expects to extend the rotation to continue as they evaluate different groups and combinations and deal with the compressed season. 11 guys played at least 11 minutes tonight. So you can see it's going to happen. So
yeah, I mean, and exactly like I thought LeBron said, we're looking forward to watching the film tomorrow and getting better. Like that's all you can do. Yeah, and like you said, Dennis is going to carry that heavy load, and we're going to have these nights on occasion. Yep. Hopefully not too often, but yeah it's going to be some ugly nights, and we just got to bear through it. Hopefully we're a top 3 or 4 seed, like I said, and relatively healthy by game 60 to 65 of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some ups and downs last season, being blown out by the Bucks on the road. I remember that, being blown out in Boston, having those back-to-back losses. We just had some moments during the season where you stopped and were like, wait a minute, that didn't feel good. 4-game losing streak, we didn't like that.
No.
Things like that. So those things are going to happen. Christmas things got to get done. All right, Blake Sinclair, I'll see you, man. They're saying LeBron's going to be chilling.
LeBron said it was kind of weird having a basketball game today
on a Tuesday night, right before.
But now we can move on. It was a hell of a run for us, 1920. But now we have to move on to 2021. So that tells me that they just weren't. I don't think it was there. They're not there.
No, they weren't there. But they'll be there tonight. They'll after tonight when they wake up in the morning and every sports pundit is ready to throw them out the window. They're no longer the favorites, and all. You're going to hear all.
Don't watch Undisputed tomorrow. If you're a Laker fan, don't watch Undisputed.
Skip Bayless.
Skip is gonna tell you LeBron's a bum. He's gonna talk about that air ball finger roll that he had. I don't know if y'all saw that.
I did.
I was like, ooh.
I tweeted that, but see, if you notice, Bron didn't even expect to be that open going to the hoop. He's so used to being physically abused every time he gets to the cup that he literally was in the paint, surrounded by 3 people, and nobody was rising up with him. And he expected to put that bunny up, and
he just finger rolled. He just rolled it too much, too much roll. So.
Yep. And go back and watch the replay. You see him look down as he's doing it because he's looking for someone to try to get on his side. In
Yeah.
any case, let's end tonight by talking about what's getting ready to come up. Christmas Day is going to be, like you said, a big game. My question for you is, tell us what needs to be adjusted, how the Lakers can win that game, and of course, what to expect from their opponent with no Kristaps Porzingis.
I expect Dennis Schroeder to hound Luka Doncic all night. Like that's the matchup that I'm looking forward to, because if we can slow him down with no KP in there, it's going to be very, very, very hard for them to keep up with the firepower that we have that we can throw at them. The Dallas Mavericks are not deep at all. They can throw out maybe 6 or 7 guys at best, and we're just going to overwhelm them with a level of energy and tenacity on the defensive end in order to get this win. So that's what I'm looking forward to. It doesn't have to be a pretty offensive night. If we could just muck it up defensively, we have enough firepower to be able to blow them out or even squeak out a win on the offensive end. And I look for AD to be an absolute monster, and for them to really figure out the spacing when they watch film tomorrow, and to know when guys should move around, bring your guy to this side, hunt more on the switches, things of that nature.
Yep. Agreed. Completely agree. It's going to be interesting to watch the Mavericks without Seth Curry. That's going to be a little bit different. And like you said, their team is not even the starting lineup's not even deep. So let alone not having KP, they're not looking good. So we should win that game when we come back for another post game show on Christmas Day, which will be a very short one. We want you guys to enjoy your families. We should be talking about a win, us being 1-1, and then of course looking forward to how we're going to handle the road trip coming after that. So at this point, it is what it is. We're 0-1, but we got them rings tonight. And shout out to Jeannie Buss and the Laker organization for a wonderful ceremony. It was just great
I
to see
cried
that.
the whole time.
Yeah,
it cried. I told myself that I probably was going to cry when the Lakers won the championship. I was so overjoyed and so thrilled that it never hit me. It didn't hit me until 71 days later when we're getting our rings and I'm seeing daughters, sons, wives, mothers, uncles congratulate these guys, frontline workers. I mean, for me, I'm not a sensitive person like that, but that just, I was flowing. And I was just in here I was glad I was by myself. No homies, no girl, no nothing. So, yeah, I was letting it flow tonight, and it felt good. It felt great because guys were so happy, and that was the best ring night. I tweeted that out that I had ever seen.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that Magic Johnson co-signs that because he said the same thing as well. It was the best thing that we could have seen, to see somebody's family.
Yeah.
Tell them their kids, like Jared Dudley. Like Jared Dudley's kid, told him, "You inspired me and you pushed me to let me know that all my dreams can come true." Like,
that's
bro,
crazy.
like
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. The one thing that hit me during that ring ceremony is when they had LeBron and they had the I Promise kids and all that stuff, and then they had Bronny and Bryce and them. It hit me in that moment. I was like, yo, it is perfectly plausible that Bronny could be standing next to his dad for an opening night game.
could be.
I mean, it's a plausible thought. It was impossible to me.
Could be. I think it would be cooler if they. I mean, it would be cool if they played together for the Lakers, but I think it'd be pretty cool for them to play against each other. To have a photo of Bronny backing down Bron or Bron backing down Bronny, like an actual that photo of Kobe guarding LeBron. I'm sorry, Kobe guarding Jordan in his rookie. Or I'm sorry, that second year. That's Kobe's second year was that game.
That'd be iconic.
Man.
You would never get another photo like that ever again in the NBA.
Never.
Never.
And on a note, before we get out of here, AD said it sucks to lose on ring night, and I already know if it sucks for him and he's pissed, he's gonna come ready to bang on Boban's head.
Oh, he coming for him, man. He coming for him. So. Listen, man, it's good. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's gonna go. Bron's gonna go work on his ankle. He's gonna get a round-the-clock treatment.
Yeah, he tweaked it pretty good. So
Yeah. He said he's going to treat this. Only LeBron will say something like this. He goes, I'm going to treat it as if it's an actual injury.
all right, man.
Like, just Iron Man, bro. Like, just the normality of tweaking an ankle is just like, oh, I'm going to treat it like it's an injury.
All right, man. Man, ooh, these rings are just nasty. Ugh.
Bro, I'm looking at Jared Dudley's box. I did not know the rings spun in the box.
Oh yeah.
But that is you can't take it away from them, bro. They won that.
Yeah,
World
that's good.
Champions 2020. So
Yeah,
if nothing
this
else,
is great.
man, celebrate that tonight. Celebrate 2020 championship season officially underway. Chaz and I will see you again on Christmas Day. Christmas Day is going to be the night. Just please remember, if you're going to go out, wear your mask. Be as safe as possible. If you're going to be with your friends and family, keep it, man. Keep it good. Keep it clean. And then, of course, subscribe to everything that is Showtime Forum. I'm talking Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, Twitch, the podcast, whatever you can. Get all that content. And, of course, always hit up Can't Beat LA, Golden Night Effects, man. They both have merch, and they're
Get your
continuing
merch.
to pump out. They're pumping out merch left and right. So get ready for that stuff. But we will see you guys again on the next one. Holla.